Welcome to Gloria's Gap Live. I have with me today Lee Kessler, longtime friend and owner of Barracuda Taphouse and Grill in Coconut Grove, and celebrating their 30th anniversary. So exciting times for you, and you've got a lot of good stuff coming on that we're going to hear about. But before that, we need to thank South Florida PBS. South Florida PBS sponsors our show week after week. And if you're a member, and I'm sure you are, you get one of these once a month, and it tells you everything that's happening from kids events and programming to the health channel, which is amazing, free medical information, and great shows coming up. So some of my favorite shows are on South Florida PBS. So tell me, we've known each other forever.
True.
I know that you're doing, you are so involved in the community, and you're doing so many good things and making a positive impact. But before we get into all of that, let's talk a little bit about the history since you're celebrating your 30th anniversary. So how did you start? Because I kind of knew you from the beginning.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So
and I advertised with you first.
There you go. First advertising.
I bought the place March 14th, 2012. I'm third owner. It was started by John L. Masry. It actually, for the year before, was a Crazy Flamingo, and which is a small chain or a franchise that came from the west coast of Florida. And he turned into it became Barracuda a year later. Basically the same place, different name, a little bit different menu, and it took off. And he did really well with it. There was a middle owner that had it for a little bit, and that allowed me to buy it.
And you've made a lot of changes too.
Yes,
over the years.
Over the years, we've made a lot. Yes and no. It's a fine line to walk because I like to keep the history. It's an iconic place that I didn't want to mess with the formula or really, especially the decor and everything. I like Grove that I remember playing in, and while the evolution that's been going on has been great, I like to kind of keep it real there. And down to earth.
You've definitely preserved that feel. I always feel like it's Cheers.
Yep.
In the Grove.
Yep.
Everybody knows
Cheers.
your name. Yeah. And people come. There are people that come again and again, but they come at different times of the day.
Oh yeah.
Because you're open forever.
But you also have it's a mix of a crowd always. It's really a great mix.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of everybody, and from every demographic, every which way. And I love that. That's one thing I love about the place. Yeah. Someone once said it, I took it as a compliment. They called it a Star Wars bar, and they were referring to the cantina scene where you just have a little bit of everybody.
Right, exactly.
And they all get along, and you all just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, but the biggest change, I guess, would have been craft beer really came dout to South Florida. It made it big down here about the same time that I purchased. So that, to me, was the way to go with it. So while I kept the character of the place, I also, we ended up adding, first it was 12 taps, then 22, and then 52.
Funniest thing, I'm not a beer drinker, but the only time I ever enjoyed a glass of beer was at your place.
When you do, yeah.
And you had a vendor that came in, and he was had all these different types of beer.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going, oh my gosh, that tastes good.
There is something for everybody these days.
There is definitely, yeah.
And some you wouldn't even think that it's a beer. You wouldn't call it a beer.
Well, probably what I tasted.
They can make it taste like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and,
exactly.
And that's what it, they really got creative.
So coming up for your 30th anniversary, you have a series of things, and you just had a huge event on Saturday.
Correct.
It went from
Basically,
11 to 3 a.m.?
We started 2 o'clock inside, 4 o'clock outside, and it just went into the night. It was great. The inside till a little after 3 a.m. It was phenomenal. It was just really phenomenal turnout. The bands were great. The DJs were great. It was without a hitch. It just really was a phenomenal event.
And now we have coming up. You've got a whole week of stuff.
That was like a kickoff party, basically. It was the big part. It is a big party, but that was the kickoff. And now this week, kind of taking it back more towards the 1995 where Barracuda started. It's kind of a full circle thing the way I see it. But we're each night we
nostalgia.
have live music.
Yeah.
Tonight is trivia, which with the Way Forward Foundation, it benefits them. We've been working with them for almost this
with
whole time. I
Lucy
believe they've been here.
Forrest. Oh, hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just helloed me.
I know, yeah.
But and we love working with them, and
they're great.
and we help them.
The Way Forward was the Woody Foundation.
Correct.
For people
and
who
Woody
don't know.
still, I see him almost weekly.
Oh, he's the best.
They're
I love that guy.
love the whole family.
Yeah.
We host Woody Stock ever since pandemic started
Oh,
because they had a hard time finding a place for it. It's one of their biggest fundraisers.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes.
and that's a pleasure to do. It's one of the best events that we throw on Fuller Street.
Yeah.
And I believe it's one of the best for them financially. I mean, it really people really come together for it.
Yeah, that and Lobster Fest.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Tuesday trivia, it does benefit them, and that is tonight. And for the first time, the theme, there's always a theme, is Barracuda Taphouse and Grill, considering the anniversary.
Yeah.
But we also have a Panthers game, which we'll be watching.
Oh,
but,
right. I know, that's big.
Yes, two big events. And then, and then the rest of the week, we have live music every night, along with promos, some of which are normal weekly promos, and then we have some add-ons.
But live music every night?
Well, normally it's only Wednesday nights. We do a thing called Bottles and Beats, where it's live music, and while they're doing the live music, we have 99-cent wings, and it's 20% off on craft bottles and cans.
Wow!
And it's a great crowd. I mean, they like, everybody comes in, they eat dinner. There are a lot of my regulars. There are a lot of people that walk there.
Oh, sure.
It's a great community event.
It is a neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood event. I mean, it's definitely there's certain people I see once a week, and it's gonna be tonight.
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe more, but it's almost a guarantee. If I don't see them, I worry.
Yeah, right. Somebody's sick.
Something happened to you.
Or traveling.
Because I know that they're very loyal to it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And tonight we'll have some extra prizes, a lot of swag, and our anniversary shirts, and we'll add on a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
And so that's great.
And then Wednesday night.
Wednesday night's always live music. Usually a single performer. Tonight is Jimmy Dredd. He who's phenomenal, and he's gonna he also coordinates some of my music a lot of the time. He'll bring me new artists because I like to mix it up.
Oh, really? I was going to say, do you bring in new talent?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Especially we have a few that left the Grove or left Miami to go to Nashville or other places to start a career, but when they are in town, they insist on coming back.
They still come back.
Yeah, I like it. Especially
so nice.
I hope they get big and they still come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we've had a few of those, and it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So that will happen. Thursday night, we have a band in the street, an 80s cover band. That's not normal, but that's for the anniversary.
Right.
I think we have a Panthers game that night as well.
I know. Every 2 days.
After them is we do karaoke every Thursday from 11 to 3 a.m. And with Karaoke Plus.
That must be hilarious.
Hilarious.
Do you get really good people because University of Miami?
It's yes and no. It's karaoke. That's a mixed bag.
So you got some people that have talent.
There are some that you know
that are just drunk.
They're just and they sound or just they like speak. Maybe they're not a singer.
Yeah,
but I give them credit for getting up there. And why not? That's what karaoke is.
There you go.
It's not their day job.
No, exactly.
So they're okay. But then there are some that they gather and you're blown away. It's
right.
Phenomenal. And I'll ask my Walt, who owns the company, is this a ringer? He's like, no, I don't know where this came from. And or maybe every once in a while it's someone that he knows, but they surprise you every once in a while.
Yeah, right.
It's only tough when someone butchers your favorite song. That's
Yeah,
like the Beatles are cringe. But it's fun. And then college night's still alive and well in Coconut Grove. And
when is college night? What day?
So it's Thursday nights in the Grove as a whole.
Oh, really?
Just descends upon us, and we embrace it. It's like preparing for a hurricane. You just kind of batten down the hatches and you roll with it.
Oh my god!
But it's great. It's fun. It's interesting. It makes for very good stories.
Yeah, I bet.
For better or worse, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the weekend is the weekend. This Friday in particular, because of the anniversary, we have School of Rock performing on
Oh,
the street from
really?
7 to 11.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, no, they're great.
That's a great opportunity for them, too.
Absolutely. And,
So
and they should. It's their backyard.
Yeah,
They're right there
exactly.
in Walk. It's a
Yeah.
great venue for them, and I love working with them.
Yeah.
They never disappoint.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, these kids rock. They really do rock.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
And then this Saturday morning, we'll have a few surprises. One of which will be a tie-dye your anniversary shirt.
Oh, here, and let's show it.
Yeah, there you go.
See,
It's the back.
The anniversary, and we got. Oh, this is the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the front. Very classy. I like that. Yeah.
Well, on the chest, yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
People have been loving the shirt. And,
Yeah. and then you're tie dyeing. So,
yes,
and your tie dye is pretty cool.
it's a cool. It's a one-off, but
yeah.
Barracuda.
Yeah.
Logo.
Yeah.
Won't do the stand-up, but.
So what did you do? You tie dyed it, and then you had sprayed
I can't
that?
take credit for doing that. This was printed by my print shop on a hand tie-dye.
And they figured out how to
shirt.
do it. Okay.
Oh yeah, we do sell tie-dyed shirts. That's mostly.
Oh really?
With this logo, same thing. This is just a polo with it.
Oh, I see. That's why it's a
which is
one-off.
little, yeah, that's
okay.
why it's this one-off and not a normal, not a normal piece of merch we sell.
Yeah. So
You have to have your
I'm
special
telling you,
pieces.
people haven't been to your place. They're missing out on
Yeah,
a good
absolutely.
time. A good time. So, but I was talking about how you impact the community positively, and one time I went to see you, and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, but I got there early enough to see some people sitting out and having breakfast or lunch or something.
Yep.
So you were explaining to me that you've got these kids that come in. So tell me about it. Tell me
So
about the different programs.
Before we even open, we open at 11:30.
Right.
Except for on Mondays. Mondays at 6.
Right.
But on weekdays, two things happen before we open. From 7:30 to 8 to 8:30, you have the CUDA Club, which is a self-named. They're basically students from the Coconut Grove Elementary, and they come over to learn chess. And they're our coaches,
They're
and they
sitting
have their
right out-
timer going, and they
and
use all
you're-
of our tables, and it's very cool. Watching the kids really get into it.
I think we have a picture of that too, don't we? Do we have a picture of that? I think we do.
Uh,
They're
there you
so
go.
adorable. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! how
And
cute is that?
they probably beat me every time, but
I would think-
they're
no.
really into it. It's awesome, and they made their pink boards with the pink pieces, and it's great. We really embrace that one. And so once they leave at 8:30, around 8:30, and for school, and then at 11 o'clock, we end up doing for one of the smaller schools on Commodore, Motivating Minds. We do lunch for them. So they come in. I have a chef in early. He prepackages all our lunches that we make that morning, and that's it. We do lunch for the school. They like to get their students out into the world. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I believe they do cooking classes at other restaurants, but every weekday we do serve them lunch.
Oh, that's
And
great.
next year I think their enrollment has doubled, so they're
Well,
expanding.
I love how you've really embraced the community, and you're part of the fabric, really.
We're the
of
dead center of
Coconut
it.
Grove.
I mean,
you
we
are
really-
dead center. And the fact that Fuller has
Has been closed.
been closed for how long? Since
It's
when?
pretty
Was
much
pandemic?
once they started the restaurant recovery in the beginning of the pandemic. It was it was a silver lining that it was necessary. It was
Yeah.
survival, and then it turned into just a great community hub.
Yeah.
Because
And it's
even
almost
in the
like a
morning,
park.
You have
It's almost like a
strollers pulled up to the
community
table.
park.
It is.
Yeah.
And people have been using it for a lot of just great events.
Yeah.
It's a great event space. It's about to be developed properly.
You
with a
told
new
me
project across the street.
Yeah.
And which we look forward to. It deserves it. 'Cause, I mean, even before I owned Barracuda, as a Grove resident, I always felt, you go to the beach or to the Gables, and you have the Espanola and you have Giralda, and the Coconut Grove is very pedestrian friendly. And so why don't we have one of these?
Right.
And here we are. And I always felt like Fuller lent itself to it out of all the streets in the Grove.
When people go to your place and they're not walking, which eliminates a lot of people.
Fair.
So where's the best place for them to park?
That's a good question. We do have plenty of garages.
Yeah, I know you do.
I have learned that a lot of people just really don't want to walk. They don't like to walk far, and it is hot out, especially right now. I get it. But they also have the freebie in the Grove to help with that circulates between the garages.
Oh, really?
To try just to help that commute in and cause less congestion in Center Grove. But there are you have a few garages. We have a lot across the street as well. You have all the street parking still. And but then you also have Coco Walk in Mayfair, and
Yeah.
I mean, you have all the Regattas has a garage, and
I suspect, and I'm speaking from experience with my kids,
okay,
that a lot of people Uber because if they're drinking, they don't want to be driving.
true.
And I got to hand it. Young people now are really good about not drinking and driving.
They are.
So, and that's good for you too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because they can drink all they want as long as they got an Uber.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to a degree.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not everybody holds all their alcohol so well.
Yeah. Exactly.
You just keep an eye.
Yeah. Keep an eye out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But we're used to it.
You're used to that. Yeah.
That's
So
what you do.
what are the most fun things that you've done during your 30 years? What are
We've had a lot of great events.
the biggest challenge and then the most fun?
Okay, biggest challenge.
Closing the street?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not a very political person. I had to learn my politics real quick and just the workings of it really, because I've never vacated a street before. Of
How many
vehicles.
people have?
And right. And but I had a lot of help from the bid at the time, and they backed me. And at the time, Commissioner Russell really embraced it, and he really took that ball across the finish line. You know, he got it done. To him. Yeah. And so that was closed on the city level, and then more recently it was closed on the county level.
Right.
And that's really now the permanent part. And now they're going through the logistics of that. Right. And really just the community wanted it. And it all started really with a petition that was started by Josh from Fukum's Pies.
Is that right?
I think he's the one who started the petition, and it had over 3,000 signatures very quickly, and it got noticed. And next thing I know, I had NPR talking to me about it, and it was
really
it became like there's a lot of support. And hey, we want this to be our communal area, and it is. Even before we open and after we close, and it's a meeting spot. Yeah. I like walking up and it looks like an island with strollers all attached to it, and the moms met in the morning for a coffee or whatever it is.
Right,
and,
exactly.
If the community uses the tables really just as much as we do, and if we're not packed and we're not using them, by all means, clean up after yourself and you're proper about it.
It's just when you're when you're packed and people are using your tables.
Right, then it's like, hey, this family needs to sit and eat.
Yeah, right.
And then, it is our table.
Yeah,
but
right.
But so that was, it was only a challenge because of a learning curve, really. But really, everybody was there to help. So I wouldn't even call it a challenge. It was just getting it done. Yeah. More of a challenge, I guess. The place has always, I call it a stigma of being the college bar. Yeah. That's been a tough one for me to get over.
Yeah.
Because of really college, while they do come out, and we get professors, the faculty and everybody, but they're really, college night itself is all of 2 hours out of the whole week.
Yeah, so it's not the bulk of your business.
It's correct. I mean, it's definitely, they come in strong. I mean, it's that we get packed, but then they leave as fast as they came in. And it's just, like I said, it's like a hurricane, kind of comes and goes.
And is your lunch crowd the businesses
a lot of the
around
local
the area?
Businesses. It's a little bit everybody, but a lot of local businesses.
Yeah.
It changed a little bit with pandemic because we, a lot of my demographic were our advertising agency. People that are encouraged to drink at work. They had meetings, great, marathon meetings in my place. And I'm sitting there, I'd walk by and hear, like, how are they getting this done? I know they've been drinking, but apparently they got it done. And they said, great, let's run with it. And there you go.
The admin wasn't far off from the truth.
No.
It hasn't changed
Absolutely.
that much.
And it was pretty, but a lot of those, they're still working from home, a lot of them, or
really?
However they worked it out, but they didn't really all come back. But the Grove is busy, and obviously residence wise, it's just more and more going up.
It's
the Grove's
crazy.
Going through a great evolution right now.
It's crazy how busy it is.
Yes,
all the time
for a little village.
Yeah.
It is quite busy.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah.
We need that foot traffic.
So how are you going to deal with the construction across the street when they start doing that?
We're still working that out. But the developers have been very receptive to it. Like, I have met with them, and
they're trying to make sure that mitigate
they're trying,
whatever.
Exactly. I think they're being very fair about it. In my previous life, to owning Barracuda was 11 years of real estate development.
I know.
So I feel
remember
both sides
that.
of it.
Yeah.
I really get both sides of it.
Yeah.
And in public meetings, I kind of feel for them fielding some of the questions. because I know they're going to be very political about it. But the reality is, there's no real beauty of actual construction. It's dusty, it's dirty. You get it done, but you know what? We're going to come out much better at the end for it.
Right.
Everybody will.
Do they have any idea how long it'll take to do the build?
Well, of their building or Fuller Street? So Fuller Street.
Their building off of Fuller Street.
So
is there
building?
Yeah, tell me how that works.
I don't know their timeline on that one, and I think they're still working those logistics out. And
so right now it's just the Fuller Street part of it.
Well, right now they're building. There's the main concentration, but then they're also as part of this development, they're redoing Kirk Monroe Park, which is with the tennis courts right there, on the and then across from the elementary, and then and then it's basically a paseo that goes from this park through their project. And then Fuller Street. So basically, you have you end up with a walkway that goes straight down to the water, almost if you went by Mr. C's. But what they are working on is Fuller, their project, Kirk Monroe, and the renderings look beautiful. I have to say, like
too bad we don't have any. You have to come back with renderings later and bring one of their people.
I don't know if they made them fully. I mean, I guess they're public. Now. For a little while they weren't, but now they're advertising. I mean, they're opening a sales center.
We can talk about having them come back.
They'll be opening up a sales center very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And go from there because it is a mixed use. They have residences that well as the business.
How tall is it going to be? Do you know?
They did not go. From my understanding, there is no variance. I believe it's 5 stories, which is what's allowed. I don't think they asked for anything extra.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. And the team has been very receptive to listening to the public. I've been to 2 meetings public meetings where they were fielding questions, and then I went to their offices to really talk more logistics and ask the questions like, same concerns I have. How long will construction be, and how is that going to work? Is it the whole street at one time? Can we do half and then the other half so I can have some tables outside? Because they're necessary. It's a big impact if I didn't have them.
The Grove is really lucky to have you because not only are you a business owner, but you also are a resident.
Correct. I live 4 blocks from my business.
You walk to your work. I remember when
there's pros and cons there.
That's true. Yeah.
The employee who locked himself out that has to walk to my house to get a key.
There you go.
Good for them, but 3 a.m. when I have to do that is not always the best.
Oh no,
it hasn't happened in years, but
yeah, right. Oh my gosh, no, I remember with the bed races. Remember years ago when we had the bed races?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
we ran in the last one.
Yeah, you walked the bed.
Oh, I walked from my house. Yes, absolutely. That was before I went. You went back. That's before I had Barracuda.
That's exactly right.
Yep. But it was nice to ride. It was a good test run. That was our first test run. Was getting it to the start line. It worked.
It worked.
Yep. We had a few good runs. We didn't win. We couldn't compete with the men's track team of UM. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But gosh, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I wish they could bring that
Especially
back.
because I'm the one who rode on the bed that year.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have to do the work.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and then the King Mango Strut.
Love it.
You've done that.
It's one of our best events.
I know.
And we're a main sponsor of it. And to me, it's one of the best events in the Grove. That and Arts Festival, to me, in Coconut Grove are just
Did you march in it?
In the Mango Strut?
Yeah.
This year, I was not in it. Unfortunately, I am just working my butt off for that. We're
I guess you
around.
are. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely stick my head out. I run around a little bit.
I got the Coral Gables Women's Club in it.
Oh, yeah?
But the first year, I started with the marching, the
Freds?
The Freds, marching Freds. Yeah, I was a friend of Fred.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one? I'm kidding.
There was because they lost during COVID. They lost a lot of the Freds.
I know.
Yeah.
I reached out to every Fred I knew. So
there was only like 3 Freds, and I met them because I was just there taking pictures for the newspaper, and they said,
could have been an honorary
"Hey,
Fred.
do you want to march with us?" And I go, "Well, tell you what." When the parade starts, if I'm around the area, I'll march with you because they said we have a sign for you.
Oh, nice.
So then I marched with them, and I marched with them for 3 years.
Okay.
And then I got the Women's Club involved, so now I'm marching with the Women's Club.
I love it.
So yeah,
it's a great event.
We just it's
and that's something that I'm glad is still around and embraced and.
Is there a way to bring the bed race back?
There has been whispers of this.
I love it.
Someone needs to spearhead it. I'm not the guy.
I know, but I've
been asked that my plate is full. I actually, there's new blood that just took over with Mango Strut. And so I was saying, hey, how do you feel about the vet races? And I know Mango Strut's a big, these people have day jobs. Like, this is not.
I know.
I know there's a lot of work. And Carl is the one who.
And then would you put it back on? You wouldn't leave it on South Bay Shore.
That's been the question.
You put it back on.
They did it the last when they. So the vet race was gone for a few years. When it came back, it was on Grand. Correct. It went from down on Bayshore to Grand.
And did it come back? It didn't come back.
Well, meaning so
the last time the bed races, they were on South Bay Shore, and Daisy and whatever.
That was after
decided.
That was after the Grand Ave. You're right.
Yeah, and
the
they
Vanilla
said
Ice was the Grand Ave year.
It didn't pay because it cost so much money.
It's hard to monetize, and I'm sure the insurance is pretty strong on that one.
Yeah, I think if they broke even, they were lucky.
It's a tough one to monetize. It's really, it's definitely easier in an older Grove time when you could kind of just throw some cones out and run a bed down the road, and people just said, "Oh, that's the Grove."
Oh yeah, exactly. They do that.
Yes. Now,
now you've got hotels and you've got
but not just that, but the permits and everything. Trying to do it right, I don't know that it would pay. It's
trying to do
really,
it right,
meaning like pulling your permits and doing your thing, and all the off-duty police, and I think it's very expensive.
Well, I think the way to do it is to get the city to.
They have to get involved.
Yeah, the city has to say.
Now, our current bid is it's they're part of the whispers. I mean, I think everybody wants it back. It's just someone needs to pick up the ball and run.
Yeah, well, the Women's Club would do it in a heartbeat. I can get a couple of beds in it.
Definitely.
If I could get,
I still have my bed frame ready to go and the tires and everything.
Well, I can always call up Shell Lumber. I can always call up Shell Lumber and say, "Hey, we're back."
I am sure you can actually.
Yeah.
If anyone can.
So, yeah. Right. Yeah. So so we need to think about that.
Okay.
Keep our eye out for somebody that's just retired. That was like.
The problem is I've asked current event people, and that they have bigger, better. I don't know about better, but they have big events they're doing, and I know when you come on the side of the bed race, I don't know if that's really. I think they see it that way too.
A good person to do it is a retired military, because they know how to make things happen.
Well, that's fair.
So So keep your eye out.
Run cots down the road.
Yeah, cots down, but they know how to organize.
We'll find some.
Military people are the best at organizing.
I agree with this.
Yeah. They can transport troops and everything all over the world.
They can run a bed down.
And they can take tanks, and they can take
That's correct.
It'll be a piece of cake.
All right. Fair enough.
So military people out there interested in a bed race.
We would welcome.
We've got people that will enter if you can organize it.
I know it's true.
Yeah.
My bed's ready to go.
Yeah, your bed's.
It is. It's my backyard right now.
Okay. Would you believe we've only got 2 minutes to go?
Wow.
So
time does fly when you're having fun.
Tell me what else you want to talk about that that's part of your 30-year anniversary.
Okay.
You've got lots of events going on all week.
Correct.
And if somebody wants to attend, how do they go to find out your information? I know they can go to our website.
Correct.
cnews.net.
Our Instagram is probably the most up to date, and it's at Barracuda Grove.
Okay.
And that's probably your most up to date point right now, especially because we're adding events as we go on top of what's already there. There are some few old favorites that I brought back. One of which was Chicken Balls of Fire, which was a big menu item from back then.
Balls of Fire.
And when I first took over, they were discontinued. And I've ever since 2012, 13-ish, been trying to recreate them, which is impossible. I've had so many chefs give it a shot. And my current chef and GM, Eric, he's pretty much there. It's there.
So you've actually replicated it?
Who comes in has said, this is it. It's not exact, but it's it. It's there.
Really?
And we serve it the same way with blue cheese that it was then. And these were some of my best memories of going to Barracuda before I had anything to do with it. Were the Chicken Balls of Fire late night were great. It just hit the spot.
Oh my gosh.
And
well, that's
little
fun.
balls of chicken and breading, and it's awesome.
So folks, chicken
lot of good
balls of fire
surprises.
at Barracuda
Yep,
Taphouse
they're
and
back.
Grill. They're back.
At least for the time being.
Okay. Well, listen, Lee, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
so appreciate. I appreciate everything you're doing in the community. Actually,
Thank you.
they're so lucky to have you. And South Florida PBS, thank you for sponsoring the show once again. And viewers, please stay safe, be considerate, be kind, make a positive impact on your community. Until next time, have a great week.